Hello everyone, it's Amanda, welcome back, and happy November. We are 2 months out from the end of the year, which is insane to me. I think time flew by really quickly at the end of the year because I was really focused on Doodle Planner launch, which, by the way, we launched the 2025 Doodle Planners two-ish weeks ago, and I wanted to say thank you guys so much for all of the love and support. Some of you guys have already gotten your planners, and it makes me so happy to see you guys opening them up and using them and starting to color them in already. I think the end of the year goes by super fast for me, especially because I'm always focused on Doodle Planner launch. And if you guys haven't heard yet, which I don't know how you haven't, the 2025 Doodle Planner launched a couple weeks ago. Some of you guys have already started getting them, which makes me so happy seeing you guys get your planners and open them up and start to color them in already. So I wanted to thank you guys for all of the love on that. Actually, soon we're going to be doing our very first Toronto pop-up, so I'm very excited for that, and hopefully maybe one in New York, but I'll keep you guys updated on that. Anyway, I've just been a very busy bee dealing with all of the Shop ARL and Doodle Planner stuff, so I haven't had the chance to set up my bullet journal yet, so that's what we're gonna do today. Hello, this is 2 weeks later, Amanda. I also have new hair. I actually filmed that intro 2 weeks ago, and things since then have just been super busy, so I haven't had a chance to film the rest of this video and get the video up. So I thought I would turn this video into a planning during November video instead of planning for November, since we're already halfway through November. So please accept my apologies for the late video. But as I'll explain, there has been so much going on, specifically the pop-up, which just happened last week. It was so much fun and so amazing to see all of you guys, but also, of course, it was a lot of work, which is why this video hasn't gone up yet. So I definitely want to give you a recap of that and also give you guys some life updates since then. So I asked on Instagram for some questions, and we're gonna do a little Q&A while you guys watch me plan, because I feel like it's been a while since I've done a good old classic YouTuber Q&A. The theme for my journal, by the way, is this really cute vintage old bookstore. I've been spending a lot of my time in New York City recently, and I'm super inspired by all of the brownstone architecture and the old buildings and just that classic old New York City fall. You know that vibe, the rom-com New York City vibe. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, 13 Going on 30, When Harry Met Sally. What else is there? Oh, Friends with Benefits. I love all of those movies, and there's just something nostalgic about New York City architecture and buildings and like an old bookstore. It's very romantic and definitely fits in with the fall vibe, so that's the theme that I'm going for. And I'm also using gouache paints. Something about the fall weather just makes me feel very artistic and crafty, and I really get in my art feels during the fall, so I love it. I know I've already been doing this, but let's start yapping and answer some of your questions. The first question is, if you could run a brick and mortar shop ARL, would you do it? How would you feel? I would definitely be open to it, but I also know that running a brick and mortar shop is such a different game from just selling things online. But I do really like the charm of an in-person little stationery shop. I mean, it's how I fell in love with stationery. I love going to a cute stationery shop, seeing things in person, and maybe some of you guys can vouch for this. I think our products are actually like better in person than online, and you really need to like feel the paper, see everything in person, touch the covers. I mean, so far we've just done the little pop-ups, which were amazing, and I would definitely love to do more of those, and maybe that'll ramp us up towards eventually a brick and mortar store. That would be so cool. The next question is, any New York City pop-ups coming soon? So I'll just use this question to give you guys a recap of the Toronto pop-up that just happened a few days ago, as well as give you some hints, because yes, we're thinking about doing some New York City events very soon, which I'm really excited about because I think there's such a strong art and journaling community there. But let's talk about the Toronto pop-up. Toronto Little Doodles. You guys really turned up. The last time I held an in-person event in Toronto was when we first launched, the very first year. I think bullet journaling was a bit newer then, everyone was super excited about it, so the event was really successful then, and I just wasn't sure how that would translate to a pop-up shop now. Honestly, I was really worried that not a lot of people would show up, but the line for the pop-up was down the block. It was so crazy to see you guys in person, and especially seeing people who went to that very first first Toronto pop-up and then also went to this one now. Seeing both of us grow up, I had a lot of people show me pictures of the one from 5 years ago, and it was just so special. So I really want to thank anyone who came out. We did a little like fireside Q&A, so it was nice to be able to answer some of your guys' questions in person. I had my full team on deck, my friends, my family, team members that I've worked with for so long, and of course the Shopify team and the Zebra team were so amazing in supporting that whole event. And we got to do a cute little event for some of my other artists and creator friends before that, where we did a little vision boarding workshop event, and hopefully I get to do that sort of thing for you guys as well. Like, I really want to do some public workshops, maybe in some cute local stationery stores. I think that would be so fun. Long story short, the pop-up was a success, and it really showed me that I need to be doing more in-person events. I think specifically with journaling, it's such a warm and inviting community that to be in person with everyone was so lovely, and I definitely want to experience more of that. The next question, which I got a lot of, is how has your healing journey been post-surgery? A lot of people asking about my physical health and mental health, which is so sweet that you guys are worried about my health, because it has been a long journey in terms of getting my health better, but I have been feeling a lot better, especially since I did make that video about my surgeries and my health scares. It's been a slow journey of increasing my iron and really just a battle with my energy levels in general, but anyone who's iron deficient sort of knows that whole game. Some days I feel worse, some days I feel better, but definitely in general a lot better than that time. Unfortunately, all the things that they tell you are true. Eating healthy, exercise, and water, and sleep really do make you feel a lot better. I know, it's unfortunate because when I was younger, I feel like I felt invincible. I could get by on like barely any sleep. I could be dehydrated all day, not work out, not eat healthy, and still feel fine. And now, as I'm getting older, I unfortunately no longer have that privilege, so I have been focusing on eating very like iron-rich diet. It's hard because I'm definitely not the disciplined type, but we're getting there. Before we move on, I want to talk a little bit about today's sponsor, Notability. If you guys haven't heard of Notability, it's a productivity and note-taking app, and it's actually compatible with our digital doodle planner, which will be coming out at the end of this month. So stay tuned for that, because I know a lot of you guys always are asking about digital doodle planners. So yes, you can color in the doodles using Notability. I personally love the highlighter tool on Notability because you can change the size, and you can have the precision eraser, which really helps with coloring in the doodle. And there's also a lot of other great tools that you can use on Notability. There's stickers that you can use. You can use the correction tape feature to quiz yourself, so it's really great if you're a student. And you can also add audio recordings as well, so if you have to record a lecture that you're listening to, you can put it right in there. There's also a lot of pre-made templates on Notability that you can use, so if you guys want to try out Notability for yourself, you can use this link to get a free trial of Notability Plus. Other people have been asking, genuinely, how are you doing mental health wise? I guess we can get into that. I have just really realized that personally, I think mental health will just be a lifelong struggle for me, and maybe that's how life just is. You know, sometimes you have ups, sometimes you have downs, and I think I used to chase this feeling of like happiness at all times, but that's really not realistic. And lately, I think I've just been realizing that I just really want to be content with my life. But I've really been trying to get myself to slow down and focus on the present, acknowledge the things that I'm doing, and try not to worry too much about what I'm not doing enough of or what I could be doing and all of these things, because that's when I really get into like an anxious spiral. I've had to do a lot of growing and changing, both in front of the camera and behind the camera, and I think I'm still like figuring a lot of things about myself out, and I think that's okay. The next question is, are you thinking of moving anytime soon? This is something that I've really struggled with throughout my 20s, is just kind of feeling lost and not knowing where I belong. And a lot of that has to do with not ever going to college. When you go to college, you get that experience of moving out, maybe moving to a new city. And I was kind of thrown into living on my own. I pretty much moved out on my own when I was 19. I dropped out of college first year, and I immediately moved to downtown Toronto. I grew up in the suburbs of Toronto, but it's pretty close and similar to downtown Toronto. So even though I moved out on my own and lived on my own since I was 19, 20, at this point I feel like I haven't really left my hometown. At some point during my 20s, I really want to feel the experience of moving to a new city. I think that would be really exciting for me and a new chapter. So let's just say I'm thinking of moving somewhere next year. A couple people asked me, how do you get inspiration for new designs? Honestly, it's really a wonder how I haven't run out of ideas after doing these bullet journal videos for 7-8 years. Every year I think this is the year that I'm gonna run out of ideas for bullet journal themes. The beauty of art is that there's always new inspiration, and I'm always inspired by the things around me, the media that I consume, and I think you see that a lot in my bullet journal themes, especially recently. How I see art is that all forms of art sort of work in tandem with each other in terms of trends, and they all sort of like inspire each other. So that's why I get a lot of inspiration from things like movies, TV shows, fashion, music, and I'll see, for example, like a graphic design element on an album cover and really think that's interesting, or see a recurring fashion trend and really think that's interesting and somehow incorporate that into what I'm drawing. So I think it's really fun to just like consume art. Whatever you input is gonna add to your output. The next question is, are you gonna do a digital planner for 2025? Yes, please stay tuned. It is coming out at the end of November. How do you feel now that you're done with the Doodle Planner launch and you're finally free? This is actually a funny question because I never feel like I'm free from Doodle Planner. We're already designing the planner for 2026, and also I feel like Doodle Planner season goes right up until the new year and even past that, so I'm still, Doodle Planner is still on my mind pretty much all of Q4. These are fun. These kind of all go together. Someone asked, where do you see Shop ARL in 5 years? Who would you like to collab with for a Shop ARL product? So where I see Shop ARL in 5 years, definitely with a wider range of products. I love stationery, but as you guys know, I have a lot of interests and I would love to do other things, maybe write children's books, maybe other coloring books, maybe things that aren't even stationery related. And then yeah, that kind of goes into the collabing for a Shop ARL product, but I would also love to collaborate with other artists, and I think that's something I really want to do more of. There's so many talented artists and business owners that I'm friends with and that I've been fans of, and I think more of that would be really fun in this like journaling art community. Any new other upcoming projects? Someone says, girl, I remember watching you when I was 9. What happened? You grew so fast. I'm 14 now. That has been a very repeated comment I've been getting lately, especially at the pop-up. So many people have like grown up before my eyes. That's something that's so crazy about being on the internet this long. I've really seen YouTube change, my channel change, you guys change, and these days I've just been really grateful for being able to still do it for this long. And I know that the content has not been as frequent or consistent, but I appreciate you guys for sort of growing up with me and being along for the ride. Anyway, it feels like I have this little wholesome internet family, this corner of the internet that feels so safe. Specifically these days where things feel a little bit scary out there and unsure. I don't know, the internet definitely has lost a little bit of its coziness for me. I don't know if that's just me, but our corner of the internet, it is still sort of like that. That was my cozy little Q&A. I'm gonna throw it back to 2 weeks ago, Amanda. Here is the final flip through. I hope that we can all wrap up 2024 really well these last couple of months, so you got this, whatever you're doing or working on or working towards. Of course, here are some of your recreations and doodle planner spreads from last month, and like I mentioned earlier, I have to shout this out again, the 2025 doodle planner is out right now worldwide. It would make a great gift as well. Thank you for watching and keep doodling. Bye everyone.